Let's talk about love. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about love. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live. It is your girl designed for greatness, kicking it with you today. And I am here another afternoon giving thanks. It has been a blessed day so far, and I am off from church. Welcome to the person that has joined. Thank you for stopping by and giving thanks for another day. The goats are over there feasting on the grass, and it's another day to be thankful. So today I am just here chilling. Went to church today. It was a great time at church. And I have missed you guys. I have not been here for some time. It was not my intention to be gone for so long, but it could not have been avoided. It is beyond my control why you have not seen me live, but I'm grateful that I could have posted for you. So as you join, please give the live a thumbs up, share me out if you can, and join me in the comment section if you will, and stay for a while. Let's talk about it. It is a great topic for you today, and you must glean from this great topic that I have to talk about today. So as you watch, whether it is now or you will watch here afterwards, I welcome you to my platform. And for those of you who do not know, you are new to the platform and you do not know what this platform is about, I give motivational, encouragement, spiritual guidance, and upliftment. I am an evangelist called by the Most High God, appointed by Him to share, to uplift, and to build, motivate lives. So therefore, that is what I do. And from time to time, you will see other little postings that I will post, but all in love, all in great camaraderie. So today, my topic, welcome to you. Please give the live a thumbs up for me. My topic for today is favoritism. Favoritism, that's my topic for today. I want to delve in this topic, this word, favoritism. One word, but carries a lot of weight. Welcome to the second person. Please give the live a thumbs up for me. Where can we find favoritism? In my opinion, anywhere and everywhere. You can find it in the home, you can find it in the workplace, you can find it in the church, you can find it in the communities, just about anywhere. Favoritism can rear its unusual. Head. Sanjo, thank you for joining. Thank you for the thumbs up. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. People from time to time suffer from favoritism, from others being favored. Voice out, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Please give a live a thumbs up for me. Thank you so much for being here. So as we look at the topic, favoritism, and we established that it can be anywhere and anyone can suffer from it. A lot of persons who, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the fourth person. Please give the live a thumbs up. A lot of persons who show favoritism actually believe that they are doing justly, fairly, and kindly. Hey Zana, thank you for coming. Please give the live a thumbs up. But favoritism can destroy persons. It can set them back. It can cause a lot of misfortune to happen. So it is not something that we should practice, because some persons practice favoritism. Where are some of the places that favoritism can be found? We already said that it can be found anywhere, but is there places that favoritism are greater than other places? Let us look at the home. Favoritism in the home. Say there are parents in the home and they have 2 children. Injustice in Jamaica, Zana said. You like before you enter. Thank you about that. Yes, Zana, true. So you said that the place that it is greater, it is possibly in Jamaica. Yes, there's a lot of it in Jamaica. So we will look at different areas. Let's just zoom in on the home. So you have 2 children inside the home. One brown and one is black. And the brown one is more favored than the black one. And so everything that is nice and lovely will be said to the one that is most favored. And the one that is not favored is always left out. These things happened. Or favoritism can also be shown in the home where you have a child that is more on the side of taking the books, and the other child is not so much for the books. And then you will find the parent trying to show that favoritism to the child that seemingly, some may look at it like that child is more brilliant than the other one, but not necessarily so. I believe that the children should be looked at in their own rights, and not everyone will gravitate to the same thing, and both children should be viewed as unique, and both of them should be steered in the area that is mostly best for them. That would be the best thing to do than to just show favoritism, because this one is more of the academic and the other one is not. Both of them are great in their own rights. So, what is favoritism? Favoritism is the practice of giving unfair preferential treatment to one person or group at the expense of another. So you're giving the preference to one above the other. And we talked briefly of children as to how it can be meted out to them. And the children can suffer in that light. Have you ever, anyone in the chat, have you ever come across persons that you know where one person was preferred over the other, where they are siblings, and they would say the parents would do everything within their power to surround the one that was preferred, and at the end of the day, that one would not show the same kind of kindness to the parents as they were looking to the child to be showing kindness to them, or they would have done everything in their power because they believe that that's the one that is going to stand by them, put it that way. Then but then when it comes to some time in life, you recognize that that's not what happened. That is not what takes place. Is that the child that was not treated right, was not preferred, that one is the one that is there for the parents. So we should not seek to practice favoritism. We should not practice it. It is not a good thing to practice. We don't want to ensure that, we don't want to do this kind of a thing, and then after we would have done so, then regret is the name of the game. And sometimes regret takes you to a place where you can't even go back to undo the things that were done. You can't even do that. And apology, I would have said that more than one time in different settings, that apology does not necessarily at all times fix the wrong that was done. So we want to try to see how we can minimize making some mistakes in life that can cost not just us, but to cost persons around us who would have suffered from those things. So let us look at this Bible article, what it says about favoritism. 3 reasons God condemns favoritism. And the scripture here that is added, it says James 1:19-27 to 1-4. My brothers and sisters, do not show favoritism as you hold not the faith in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ. James 2:1. Favoritism, according to Merriam-Webster, is the unfair practice of treating some people better than others. The Greek word translate favoritism in James 2 literally means to receive according to the feast. In other words, to show favoritism is to make judgment about people on the basis of their outward appearance. Here are 3 reasons why showing favoritism is prohibited in Scripture. Favoritism is inconsistent with the Creator's character. Impartiality is an attribute of God. He is absolutely and totally impartial in dealing with people. Let me see what Zana said. What did Zana say? The hotel industry in Jamaica. Okay. All right. So where were we? For the Lord your God is the God of gods and the Lord of lords, the great and mighty and awe-inspiring God, showing no partiality and taking no bribe. That's Deuteronomy 10:17. For there is no favoritism with God. Romans 2:11. There is no favoritism with him. Ephesians 6:9. Now I truly understand that God doesn't show favoritism. Acts 10:34. So our great creator, the one who sits over the universe, show no favoritism. And we are calling to action that we should not show partiality. We shouldn't show favoritism. It is not a good thing. So the first reason why, that is the first reason we are given as to why we shouldn't show favoritism, because God does not do so. Secondly, favoritism is contrary to God's value. Excuse the background sound in my area. Hope it's not too overpowering for you. Thank you for being here. James addressed the situation in which believers gave preferential treatment to the rich. James 2:2 and 3. What would motivate this kind of behavior? What would motivate this kind of behavior? Is it not because these believers value the rich more than they value the poor? They would rather have the rich attended their church than the poor, and their treatment of the rich and of the poor reflected their value. Now, as we bring it home where church is concerned, for this is a biblical view of the situation. It says, number one, first reason, God do not show partiality. So therefore, if God do not show partiality and the church is governed by children of God, then we should not be seen in that light where we are showing partiality. Thank you for joining. Please give the live a thumbs up as you join. So as children of God, we should not show partiality at all. But then it seems here that it was very clear that it was being shown completely. Thank you for that thumbs up. In the church, partiality was at its highest and best in the church, because here the writer wrote about it, and the writer was a godly man. And it says, he pointed out the situation clearly here of the rich and the poor, and therefore it would have been seen, thank you for that fourth thumbs up, that the persons who would have been seen like they have something, or they are seemingly more esteemed in a certain light in life, that they were more gravitated towards, and perhaps they were more selected also to be used in the church than those who were seemingly of a lowly estate. And this should not be, partiality should not be. We should be choosing persons based on their ability, based on what they are capable, their ability, their capability. That's how they should be chosen. It should not be because the person projects a certain image, or the person is aligned a certain way, or the person is of a certain class, or therefore, anything of that spare. We should not find ourselves as children of God doing anything of that song, of that fact at all. James reminded his readers that their value were not God's value. If you are showing partiality as a child of God, you're not valuing the things of your Creator, the Most High. Didn't God choose the poor in His world to be rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom that He has promised to those who love Him? Yet you have dishonored the poor. So that's James 2:5-6. There where I had to come off the Wi-Fi and go on data. So here we are. We are still here. You are still here with me. I appreciate your company, and I value you, and so grateful that you're able to still be here. So as we continue to delve on the topic of favoritism, the practice of it, and how it is viewed biblically. And so we were at James. We were looking at what James says. And James says in James 2:9, but if you have respect to persons, or if you show favoritism to some persons, you commit a sin and are convicted of the law as transgressors. So it is seen as a sin by the law of God for showing favoritism, or what is also called partiality. Favoritism and partiality is the same thing. For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. So we show favoritism where we gave some people preference over another. But God is expecting us to show the same kind of kindness. Welcome to the person that has just joined. Please give the live a thumbs up for me. If you are returning, I thank you for returning. Thank you all for being here. It's a bleaky time, so I have been having problems with my internet. So, favoritism is against God's law. Favoritism messes with people's emotions and their mind. Favoritism causes persons to have reaction that is not comely. You know, unkind emotions will pursued out of persons for when they are shown that kind of a behavior. And what is true is that at times when persons does these things to persons, when they show the emotions that comes from them, those persons are further looked down at and talk about, and sometimes not treated right because of their action. And many times as well, the persons who would have done the deed to those persons have not stopped to consider what they had done to cause what now is transpiring or what has transpired. Two wrongs can make a right, I used to hear my mother say. My late mother, is her soul rest in peace. So it's like beating a child and telling the child not to cry at the same time. And so you beat the child and the child cry out, and because the child cry out, you tell the child that he or she was not supposed to cry. Crying should not be heard, but yet something has been done to the child that triggered the emotion of crying. And the response in crying, you are also trying to stop. Interesting. 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 But I believe the sooner we address these situations appropriately, it would be better for us. Or we would be seen as a part of the problem. Let us try to be solution oriented and not be those persons that are so laced with being a part of the problem. The problematic aspect of life is what we do so much more than finding solutions for situations. And if we place something up high and it is not placed properly where we would have placed it, a possibility lies that it may fall from where it is placed. Possibility lies that when it falls, it might becomes broken. Possibility also lies that if it is broken or when it is broken, it may not be able to be fixed. And so therefore we will need to consider all of those things before we seek to be one-sided in a matter. So James calls us to responsibility. What is my responsibility? What is your responsibility? Now I ask you the question, if you are able to respond in the chat. Those of you who are here with me, if you are able to respond in the chat. What would you do if you are in a situation where favoritism is being meted out to you? You are not the one that is being favored, but those that are being favored, it is causing you to be ineffective. What would you do? If you find that you are becoming stagnant, your growth process is not where it should be. On every side, as you look, you're recognizing that you are more ineffective than effective. Whether it is on your job, whether it is in your community, whether it is in your home, whether it is in your church, regardless of where it is, what would be your response? What would you do if that is your fate? That is what you recognize that is happening to you. What would you do? Would you just leave the job? So you're on the job and you're there for years and years and you're qualified, but you're not being treated right. And we would have incited the home situation already, where because you are not what your family members expected of you, you know, you're not favored. Or because you're not stylish, you're not on the stylish side. What do I mean? There are some persons that will, they take pride in getting the latest fit, and they will deck themselves out with the latest fit, and you are more on the vintage side. You're not that. You're on the simple side. You will just get something nice and you put yourself together. That is what you do. That is what you want to do. But because you are that way, you are not preferred. What would you do? How would you handle it? I would say, if it's a style issue where you are not preferred because you are not with the crowd, so to speak, I would say you should smile and keep stepping. Keep on moving. Why? Because you are unique in your own right. Right. You stand out the way you are. You are your own leader. You're not a follower. You know who you are. You know what is just right for you. You are comfortable in your own skin and in what you do. When you put your clothes on, when you put yourself together, you are comfortable with you the way you are. And because you are comfortable with you the way you are, you don't need to try to change yourself to be with the crowd, quote unquote. You don't need to try to do anything to change to please the masses. If there needs to be any change, let it be because you want that change for you, not because someone says that you're not wearing the style that is in, not because someone says that they don't like the way you put yourself together, not because someone says that the clothes that you're wearing is old time fashion, is not what is, in the 20s, the 2024, so to speak. So you're going to go and you're going to even go outside of what you can afford to try to look the part, to please the persons, the masses who are telling you this. I'm saying to you, if that is the situation, do not change who you are to choose, to prove any point to anybody or to try to please anyone. If you are comfortable the way you dress, as long as you know you put yourself together nicely, let it be the way you are. If it is a situation where it is not clothing, but it is a vehicle, because we would have dealt with that, where we would have dealt with the fact that some persons look at persons because of the vehicle that they drive or the house they live in. or the job they have, and therefore we should not allow ourselves to be deprived at all in life because of those things. So if it is a vehicle and now you are pressed, you're under pressure because you just drove a Corolla, and all your friends, their car are more high end. Perhaps they are able to afford that, but maybe you're not able to afford it. But maybe you're also able to afford it, but you were comfortable with your Corolla, Toyota Corolla. I'm saying be happy with who you are and be happy with the car you have, because they have their high-end vehicle and they're driving to where they want to go and they get there. You're also driving to where you want to go and you are getting there. So be happy with who you are. If it is a situation that it is work, if it's impeding you to the fact where you cannot function on the job and you are putting in less than what you should put in, because though it's work, sometimes persons believe that they should not give up their best on the job. But we should, for we are being paid to do the work, and so we should give off our best on the job. So who who will for those who will not be able to function because of the partiality that is being, I would say, look at what is being done. Is it something that you could overlook? Is it something that you could navigate yourself around? Is it something that you could perhaps advocate for change? Look at all of those aspects. And if there will be no change, if it affects you mentally, if it affects you emotionally, if it's affecting you physically, in, and it is affecting your job, look at all the angles. Also remember that your job takes care of you, and perhaps you have other persons that are being taken care of because of that job also. So you look to see where the changes is necessary. And if there is no improvement, if you cannot ignore what is happening and function effectively, then perhaps you should look for another job. But the first thing should not be to necessarily leave the job. Some person will just up and want to just leave the job right away. But that may not be the best thing to do or the first thing for you to do. There are many options that you could explore before you come to a decision to say leaving the job is the best thing for you to do, because sometimes persons just want you to leave the job so that they can just dance that they have prevailed over you. But sometimes if you persevere and look into the situation effectively, then you may be able to find a way to handle the situation. You may find a way to handle it better. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your company. I know that I cannot do this without you, and I could have never done this without you. So your company is very much appreciated. I thank all of you for the likes, and for those who, if you have shared me out, I thank you for doing so. As we look at the topic favoritism, or some call it partiality. Now, if it is not what you drive, or what you wear, or where you work, and it is a church related issue, How do you handle it? How do you handle it if it's a church related issue? What would you do if you find yourself in that situation where you are in church, you are a child of God, saved, baptized, growing in grace, giving yourself to ministry, giving yourself to growth and development, and you find gospel time, welcome to you, and you find that partiality is what you face in the church. But what area, I would ask the question, are you facing partiality in? How are you facing such situation? What is happening? What is happening? Why you are facing partiality? From what level do you view it? Partiality can come in a spiritual light in many aspects. We would have already laid the foundation that this is not of the Lord and it should not have been happening in the first place. And we would have already decided that it's not only an issue that should not have happened or should not be happening, but we have also said clearly, profoundly, that it is seen spiritually as a sin. So it is not something that should be committed against any believer at all. But the reality is that if we ought to come down to the meat of the matter, partiality is big in many churches. Some may say, Design, you are a child of God, you should not be saying these things, you'll be putting the church out there, to say that churches show partiality. But right is right and truth is truth. Partiality at times are very big in churches. You will find in some churches, persons would come in and those persons have not even yet come to a place of any growth or development, and they will be thrust into doing things because they seemingly capable of doing the things. But at the same time, you would have persons sitting there that is also capable of doing the things, and they are not considered to be used. Partiality is shown in the aspect where persons are more fluent than persons, and sometimes persons seek to go for the more fluent people to do things, and that is also partiality. If the person is capable or able, and sometimes the person can be taught as well, I believe what should happen is that that person should be considered like anyone else. Thank you guys for still being here. I appreciate you so much. Partiality can also be seen where intellectual is concerned, where some persons are more intellectually savvy than the others, and therefore they are they are more gravitated to in terms of to be used. There is something being announced. I'm gonna close my microphone a little bit because it is really noisy. Okay, so it is now in the far distance. So we'll continue. So we're talking about partiality and how persons can show, in what area persons can show partiality. To some persons, excuse me, and what the effect of what it can do where church is concerned. So we were talking about persons who would have been more would be more intellectually rounded than others, and therefore they are used. Society as well, where the person come from, community that the person come from. Sometimes it is things that persons would have knowledge of persons prior to their conversion. Sometimes partiality is shown in those aspects as well because they knew of something of the person or would have heard of something of the person, not necessarily knowing it to be so. And remember that we would have defined what partiality, favoritism is. Partiality and favoritism, same thing. It says the practice of giving unfair preferential treatment to one person or group at the expense of another. So someone would have said something or someone would have known something about you. And sometimes it continue like a chain. It has a chain reaction effect. Whereas to all right, these were the persons that would have behaved a particular way concerning the thing. Some weeks or months would have passed, or possibly years would have passed, and therefore some of those persons would have moved away, some of those persons would have grown, perhaps they would have also changed or transformed their mind, renewed their thoughts. But others who would have been new now would have been taken over. But what was said or what was done still carry that chain reaction, for persons would have still transformed that idea from one place to the other. Transport is the right word. So they would have transported it from one place to the other, from one person to the other. And so, whereas you believe that it is dying, it keeps resurrected itself and it lives. It lives. And Therefore, the partiality, the preferential treatment continues. So, the bottom line is, what would you do? How do you deal with a situation like that? How do you deal with being treated unfairly, being thrown in a situation where you know that you should not be treated that way? And even if there are persons who also come to that understanding that you should not treat it that way, should not be treated that way, still there's no changes. It is all talk. It's kind of like the politicians. The politicians, when they want people to vote for them, they come around and they promise you and they eloquently elaborate as to what they'll do for you. And they tell you how they'll do it. And they make those fashionable promises unto you. And because it came over so believable, you said, this one will do differently. And so you go and you vote. But after you have voted, then you recognize you have placed your vote, but what you had gotten was just a promise. And there will be no fulfilling of the promise. Thank you for those who have just joined. Please give the live a thumbs up. Share me out if you can. Stay with me for 5 minutes or more. If you stay less than 5 minutes, your time will not count, though I so appreciate you. Even if it is 1 minute you stay, I appreciate your presence for gracing this platform. But when you stay for 5 minutes or more, it helps the double H. So if you can, please do. I thank you. In those times when the preferential treatment rises to the level of stench, to your unfortunate disapproval, to your not only disapproval, but disappointment, how do you handle it? Should you just get up and just leave the church? There are many churches available. Surely you can find another church to go, right? Of course you can find another church to go. But what is the problem with that? The problem with that is there's nowhere in this life that is perfect, that you will find perfection. So you may leave from here and believing that you will find it there, and you will not find it there. Perhaps it may be even worse than when you would have, where you would have been in the first place. So what am I saying? When these things are happening, in reality, the first thing to do is to view your situation. Always check to see if you're a part of the problem. Always check to see if you are a part of the issue as well. Ensure that you are not being self-righteous about it. Ensure that you are not being, haughty, prideful. Ensure that you are not seeking to gain more than what you would have sown. Ensure that that's not the problem. And if you can check the situation justly and you are not at fault in any way, shape, and form, ensure that you are doing right. Make sure you are doing right. And if you are doing right, continue to do right. Continue to do right. Now the next question is, should you make it be known that you know that you are not being treated fairly? I would say yes, you can. Just in case those who are being unjust have not been made aware within themselves that they are being unjust. But try not to be unkind because they are unkind. Try not to also be impartial because be partial because they are partial. Be fair, be wise, and be just, and be clear, be precise in stating what is happening. And when you do, stand your ground and continue to walk justly and uprightly and fervent before the Lord. Continue to do so. Why? Because you will be setting the trend. Thank you for that thumbs up. 2. Help others to recognize that this is not something that they had to do. And if you find yourself in a situation where you are now elevated to the place that you can also do just what was done to you, choose to not do like that. Choose to not be like that. Choose to do right. Choose to be kind. Choose to be just while you stand out, while you speak up and speak out, while you ensure that even those who are taking you for granted, they know that you understand exactly what they are doing, but you are not willing to walk that road with them. But to leave the church is not the first option. That would be my encouragement. Because you can show, you can prove that favoritism is not a lifestyle that should be practiced. And you can show that those who are showing that kind of a behavior towards you and impacting your life negatively, you can show that their negative response towards you do not stop you from shining, living, growing, being fervent, being built up in the most holy faith, and being kind and be just. So it pays for you to be wonderful, even in a situation that is less than wonderful. Be graceful, even in the face of situation that is grossly unjust and unkind. And you can teach them that there's a greater way. There is a better way. You would have afforded to show that. And at the end of the day, while Rich, thank you for coming. please give the live a thumbs up for me. Thank you. You have done so. I can see that. Thank you so much. Stay with me a little while so that the time can count. Thank you so much. So it's not every time persons are being unkind to you, you have to be unkind. It's not every time they are being unjust, you have to be unjust as well. But you can stand your place and you can stand firm. For sure, you will find some of them talk about you that you are rough and you are possibly they may say you're talking back, possibly they may say that you're too defensive and all of those things, because they may not look at what they are doing. Well, let them say what they have to say, as long as you stand on the side of justice. That is true. When you say depends on the situation, Wild Witch, could you further elaborate as to when you say depends on the situation? Because we're talking about partiality, and for persons who show that kind of partiality, favoritism, towards person, being unkind to others. Depending on the situation, you may react. Is that what you're saying, Wild Rich? Also remember, until you comment, also remember that when you react to the situation, depending on how you react, can cause the situation to be escalated even worse than it is, and sometimes some persons are expecting the worst of you, and sometimes when they do what they are doing, they are expecting you to also, sometimes they believe that you will not catch on to what they are doing. I went through a situation that I'll never forget. Would you like to share? Yes. Yes, sometimes would you like to share that situation, Wildrich? Yes, sometimes they are waiting for a reaction from you. And when they're waiting, excuse me, for that reaction from you, they are just waiting, for the thing to escalate, for them to have more to use against you. That is what some of them do sometimes. And when you react to what they do now, it is like an armor that is used. And especially if it's a situation where they can take you to a board or take you to someone to complain to about the situation, then they have evidence to use against you that is not even evidence. It should not even be seen as evidence, but because of how you react, it escalates the situation and it makes it worse. And before it was escalated, what you had was an unjust person that you are dealing with. And when it escalated now, instead of just having an unjust person that is unkind and impartial and just show favoritism, you now have an enemy. So sometimes we can react differently. We can trust the Lord to guide our emotions so that when we react or when we act, and the best thing to do is to really act and not react, because when we react, sometimes it's not nice. It's not necessarily that we will do the right thing. But when we act, when you take an action, try to take the action after thinking positively first as to what to do, why you do, and we try to live in harmony like that. Those two animals there, that's a dog against a goat, and both of them seemingly communicating nicely and playfully, even though two different animals, and there they are sitting beside each other, and none messes with the other, both having their own thoughts while in conference with each other. So sometimes we have to look at Wild Rich the way we do things and how people expect us to do things, because sometimes what they are expecting is really for us to not do right, not do good, not excel, not be of our best. That is what they are expecting of us. And because they expect us to not be of our best, when we now react and we are not our best, it gives them more leverage against us. So that is why I would encourage that we don't just blow up and flare up when these things happen. That situation has left me stirred up till I am yearning for revenge. It seems, while rich, that it was something really, really devastating that had happened, and the fact that it caused your mind to think revenge, it tells me that it was something that was very hurtful. But hear what happened now. Hear what happened. Even though the situation may have caused, I don't know if it caused the damage, may have caused despair, it may have caused, it definitely caused a bitter feeling, a bitter taste on the inside. But revenge is not necessarily the best thing. Revenge is not necessarily the best way to handle it, because revenge, even though you would have said that you have come to the place where you avenge the situation, so to speak, after all would have said and done, there might be some time that passed afterwards and you regret the revenge. What I would also encourage is that everything that happens to us in this life, it carries a lesson. It almost causes you damage. So I can see what you are saying. But I was just saying that every situation that happens in life, it comes with a lesson. Some comes for a lesson. And even when it comes, if it was not for a lesson can be learned from it. So I'm going down the road and I'm driving, and I'm driving at a moderate speed. Say I'm going, say, 80 kilometers per hour, and I'm going, but then I felt the need to go slower, lower my speed a bit, and I did. And as soon as I lower my speed, then I recognize that another vehicle coming in the opposite direction, and if my speed was at the same speed where I was, there would have been a collision. What do I learn from that? What do I learn from that? And now say I did not cut my speed and I was going at my same speed, but the speed is still moderate because it is only 80 kilometers. It's not very, very fast. And the person that come to collide in my vehicle now, that person overtakes something and becomes an obstacle in my pathway, and my vehicle is now damaged or almost damaged because of what the person does. What lesson do I learn from that? And while we say, and God not giving no man more than they can bear, that is it while rich. God do not allotted to anyone more than they can handle, because in the midst of the allotment that has been allotted, God is there to give grace to handle it. So here is my vehicle almost damaged, and what do? I come out the car, the other person is out the car, and me start to coast down the place, and say, look, you almost damage me vehicle, and why you not drive pan for your side, and you know people want to dip on road for, and somehow you know if you have license, want to get license for, and me just go on with myself and I go on with myself because I'm upset that my car has almost been damaged. But hear what? If I take a deep breath and shake my head and come to the understanding that yes, my car almost get damaged, but it's not damaged. Or my car is damaged, but I'm still alive. When the damage took place, it could have damaged me greater. It could have taken my life. Yes, it almost caused me damage, but the almost damage that it almost caused me, it could have also cost me my life, but I'm still here. What am I saying, Wild Witch? You look for the lesson in the situation. And when you find the lesson in the situation, the thirst for revenge becomes less. Yes, you're saying no one is deserving to be treated the way you were treated. Possibly all true. Possibly all true. But you said something before. You said that you said God now give no one more than what they deserve. But I'll tell you one thing more greater, that Christ came to this earth, and he came and he suffered hard and he suffered long, and he did not deserve anything that was laid upon him, but the Lord God allotted that it was laid up on him. For if it was not laid upon him, then we would not have found the path back to righteousness. And Christ was beaten, and he carried a wooden cross that I'm sure was very weighty, a very long mile. And then if that wasn't hard enough, while he was carrying it, they were beating him. And while we say, but one of my friends said that me not go through nothing yet. He possibly have said that to you because many persons would have gone through way worse than you have gone through. And here we are talking about how Christ has suffered. So they beat him while he was carrying the cross on his shoulders. And if that was not enough, when he got to the place where they were going to take his life, they strip his clothes off him, leave him bare, naked, shame, and disgrace. And if that was not enough, they mock him and say, you say you're the Son of God, save yourself. And if that was not enough, they say, you say you're a king, so it's time for you to be crowned. So they make a fake crown out of thorn, maca, something that is going to joke you. And they thrust it up on his head. I am sure they didn't take time to put it on it. They put it on forcefully on his head. And if that was not enough, they took the sword and they pierced him with it. And if that was not enough, they took nail and they nailed his hands and they nailed his feet. And then they said, come down off the cross. And if that was not enough, they said, he said, I am thirsty. And they gave him vinegar to drink. And this is what he said. If any man should follow me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. If any man understand the way of life, that human being is not just a physical being in this earth, and that we are not just here to just live and go back to the dust. If man recognized that his life is more spiritual than it is physical, if man recognized that he will go through some things in this life, and it is not as though God wants him to just suffer all the days of his life, but he who was without sin suffered deeply, and he bore it, and he was victorious. He came through triumphant to show us that we can be victorious over these matters as well. So I tell you, while rich, just that while he was there on the cross, they were doing him all of those things. And he was saying to his heavenly Father, Father, forgive them. They don't even know what they're doing. Because if they know who I was, they wouldn't be doing me these things. They don't really recognize that what they are doing, actually, it had to be done. They don't even recognize that they are doing it in mockery, but it is saving them. It is adding grace for them to be aligned to righteousness. It is taking them out of sin, shame, and disgrace and align them to the presence of the Most High, ever living and ever faithful and ever sure. So what am I saying, Wildridge? If Christ could go through all of that and forgive, you can look at the lesson or lessons that you could learn from what has happened to you, and you can also forgive. Forgiveness is a greater weapon than using any other weapon, because it eats away of the soul and the mind and the heart of those who were wicked, because they cannot understand how wicked they were, and the persons that they were wicked to are not giving off the same behavior towards them. Yes, God, you say God will give you the victory. God has already given you the victory. You have to claim it and walk in it. That is it, Wildridge. A lot of persons are very blind. A lot of persons have blinded themselves. A lot of persons have chosen not to want to do things that are just and honest and true and right. But that does not mean that we have to be them. And then if we give the same kind of a revenge as they are doing to us, it is called, like back in the olden days, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Then where is the lesson learned? If we are saying that they are wicked and we choose to do the same thing that they are doing, or we choose to do even worse than they are doing, are we better? How does it make us better? So the persons are being impartial, they are being unfair, they are being unjust. But then my response to it is to also be impartial, to be unfair, to be unjust. How does that make me a better person? That is it, why rich? It's just for us to see the truth of the matter, that persons have given their heart to foolishness, and that's an window, an open door for the enemy to use, and the enemy has taken it and used it and used them against other persons. And sometimes the situation is that those that they have come up against have great elements within them. Some persons, those persons and the enemy just want to block those persons and stop them. They just want to, he's just want to try whatever he can to destroy those persons. And because he wants to do that, he uses whatever vessel that is available. And so if their vessel that are used against us, we decide to be the same as they were or as they are, against them. We are not better. We are not better. We are not making any example. We're not making an example at all. So that is why I would encourage you. Look at what was done to you. Look at how it was done. Look at if in the situation of what was done also, if you play any part in it. Look at if you had triggered any emotions or anything of that. If you are sure within yourself that you did not do anything to cause what had happened, then you are free and clear on your side. So it means then it leaves them for the Lord God to deal with them. If it is still persistent in today's world, says Wildrich, if a man pluck my eye out, I'm not gonna walk away. You know, I would walk away if he pluck me eye out. Matter of fact, me not stand up if he pluck me eye out. Me gone long time. And I think that is part of life that we have not learned, that we can walk away because we believe that walking away makes us powerless. But walking away makes you powerful because you get to go and do introspection. Walking away shows you another side to the situation. You get a chance to go and think. In the moment, you will not be able to process anything right. You are just going to seek to do what comes to your mind right away. And while rich, sometimes what comes to your mind right away is not the right thing. Sometimes it is not the best thing. Sometimes it is not the most helpful thing that will help you in the situation. So it is not the best thing to do. So I'm telling you, for me, if I am seeing any situation surrounding me where it seems as if my eye could be plucked out, I'm not standing there for you to pluck out my eye, for me to try to pluck out back for you. Because the time you're going to stand up to try to pluck out back yours because you pluck one of mine, me might lose me two eye. And instead of having one eye, me blind. So these are the things that we have to look at while rich. We have to look deeply into some things. Deep into some things. And I'm not sure that we completely understand some of these things rightly and justly. We have to be very, very careful how we are very quick to move, to act in situations. It is better sometimes when we don't seek to be like that. It is better. We may not believe it, but it is much better. Sometimes in those moments where you might even try to think and the thoughts is not clear. The thoughts that come through is not very clear. And so you make the decision and you believe you're making the right decision. And then you find that you make the wrong decision. So you don't want to do that. We want to ensure that we do the right thing. So, friends, families, viewers, let us think on these things carefully. Let us look at how we do business, let us try to be just and right and not to show partiality, but to be impartial. And let us not seek to give unfair treatment to anyone or to any group, for it is not only wrong physically, it is disturbing and it is unjust. It is a sin. It is wrong spiritually. So let us not go on that side. Let us not do that. James chapter 2, verse 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that had showed no mercy, and mercy we judge against judgment. What does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he has faith and have not works? Can faith save him? So while rich, this is what we were saying when I say it's no use to be unjust and unkind, because that same judgment will be meted out. That is what verse 13 is saying. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that had showed no mercy. So those who are doing these acts and not showing mercy, that's how it will be for them. No mercy will be allocated to them. So we don't want to be in that line. We don't want to be like that. We don't want that to happen. So we don't want to be saying to someone, whether brother or sister, naked or destitute of daily food. We don't want to be saying, depart in peace, without just, you don't give him no food, you don't give him anything to cover himself. You just send him away, and you send him away naked and hungry. So where is the work that is there? Where is the profit where that is concerned? Where is the faith that is there? Let us act in kindness. Let us act in mercy. If we are children of God, are God-fearing, and we are in the business of showing favoritism, whether in our home, to children, whether to brothers or sisters, whether in your church, whether at your work or in your communities, I encourage you to humbly reduce those behavior in you. change them. If it is inside your church and persons are doing it, don't be a part of it. Be one of those persons to say to that person, this is wrong. I am not in favor of this kind of a behavior. If the person are well capable and qualified of doing the thing, use the person and don't go around the person. Be kind one to another. And the sad part of this life is that some of us whose lips preaches these things are the very ones that are at the front of the line that is doing these unkind things. And at the same time, we are telling people, don't do this, don't do that. And we are doing them. How can we teach something that we ourselves are not carrying out? Faith without works is dead, right, Wildridge? You know everything, but you choose the path to walk. That is so true. That is so true. All of us have choices in this life, and all of us choose the path that we want to go. And just in hope that we will all seek to choose the most favorable path. The Lord God said to us, behold, I place before you choices, life and that which is not life. And he said, choose. So all of us have that choice to choose negatively or positively. So my encouragement to you, while rich is to choose positive. Faith without works is completely dead for real. So let us match the faith with the works. And show me your faith and your works. Don't show me the faith without the works. And don't show me the works without the faith. Because none of them will be able to stand without the other. Show me the faith and the works. And all things will work together for good. Me know them go face it real bad. Well, just leave it up to the Lord. Because if they don't face it by someone repaying them for what they have done, they may very well face it by God, answering to God. Their own conscience will cry out to them in the middle of the night. And one of the worst things for someone to face is their own conscience. When their own conscience start to read the things back to them. So that's it, Wildridge. The best thing to do is to be kind to everyone, even to the people who are unkind to you. Because when you are kind to the unkind, you are teaching them a lesson that your thoughts and your ways is above their foolishness, above their stupidity and their ideology of nonsense. So that is why it is best to stay on the right path, on the right road, and sustain that which is good. I want to thank you all for sticking and staying with me. Thank you so much, Wildridge, for coming in and spamming my comment section, keeping it going. I'm so grateful for all of your presence, for those of you who have been here, and for those of you who will be watching afterwards. I do hope that from this you would have learned something that impacted you and that you can use to make yourself stronger or better in one way or another. or you may find something that you can also share with someone else that can impact their lives as well, and to make them a better person, or to help them to make better or greater choices in life. I am so, so, so glad that I could have come to be with you today, for it has been a while that we have not seen each other in this way. You have not, I have not graced, you know, the live with you. So I'm grateful that I could come live today and you could hear my voice, and you could, you know, partake of the fresh atmosphere, the greenery, the scenery that I have shared with you, and my goats and dogs that you would have seen, you know, and birds flying by, the atmosphere which I love so, 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 so much. I come to this, my chilling spot, and share with you from time to time. So I am grateful once again. And we are in the final moments to close for today, and I seek to start another chapter of the evening, and also to be prepared by the grace of God for another day. I'm sharing with you two birds right there. Lovely they are, right? There they are right there, sharing them with you. So these are some of the things that I get to see from my chilling spot. They are gone now as I come here from time to time. Thank you for those who are joining. We are in our final section. Please give the live a thumbs up, and we have about, say, 8 minutes to go. If you could so kind and stay with us for the next 8 minutes, your 8 minutes would count beautifully. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you thumbs up the live, it will not show who you are. If you comment in the comment section, that's only when I will know who you are. So give me a thumbs up, please, if you have not done so already, if you're just joining. And I thank you so, so, so very much. God has been good to all of us. And I want to encourage you to continue to be good to somebody. Continue to, first and foremost, being good to yourself. Speak righteousness to your own mind. Speak lovely things to your own heart. Speak beautiful things to yourself. Say beautiful things to yourself. And love you first. Because if you are not able to love you, you will not be able to love anybody else. And when you understand the beauty of loving you, you will be able to also understand the beauty of loving others. And where others struggle and showing partiality, favoritism here, there, and everywhere, you will not have to do that, because you would have a balance in your mind already. You would have a balance in your spirit and in your hearts of hearts. So you would know how to treat everyone kindly, fairly, and justly. You would show those mannerism, those great attributes. You will be able to show them, you know, to others, and you will also be helping them to also show them to other persons. This is what we are here for in this life, living and learning. And as we live and learn, we grow. And as we grow, we help others to grow. So, you're blessed people. You're people of righteousness. You're people of hope. You're people of beauty. You're people of richness. Richness that goes beyond money and physical assets. You're a people of greatness. So keep doing great things. Keep being great. Why are you going to keep doing great things and keep being great? For you are great. How do I know that you are great? For greatness lies within you. How can I prove that greatness lies within you? For you were created in the image of the Heavenly Father. He placed breath within you. He breathed and make you a living soul. Yes, I go to church, Wild Rich. I go to church. And therefore, because your Heavenly Father is great, you are also great. So what else is left to do? Do not allow anyone to take that away from you. Take what? Take the understanding that you are a great person. So anyone that tries to make you believe less than yourself, don't take that on. You don't need that kind of a negative vibration, for you already know who you are, that you are great. That's who you are. That's who you are. Good vibes, Kay. How are you? Blessings, blessings, good vibes, Kay. Thank you for coming. We are just closing out. We have 3 minutes to go. I don't know if you have been here already, because I know you sometimes will come and just listen. You just listen sometimes and give the thumbs up and listen, and sometimes you might be busy in the background and all of that. So I know that you will do that sometimes. But I appreciate you being here. Yes, man, I know that you will do that. But I'm so grateful for your company. Thank you so, so much for coming by. Well, Rich, it was good to have you here. And it was my great pleasure to give you some encouragement on the path that you have traveled. Just keep being strong, my brother. You said, I know the way. I know the way, for Christ is the way, and he teaches the way, and he keep teaches the way. So we all can learn the way through him. Thank you for that thumbs up. I see that thumbs up go up. Thank you so, so much. We are in our final 3 or 4 minutes to go. So I'm just chilling here with you until I end for this afternoon. My very, 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 very great pleasure in having you sharing in the topic this evening. This month is my... Yes, nice to know. Nice to know, Wild Rich, that you will continue to do that. Okay, good vibes, K. I see that. I appreciate that as well, because this month is my Earth Strong month, as we love to say. So I'm packing in all the goodies that I can get. So those who cannot give any other gift, WH is a good gift to give to me. I will accept all the WH that there is for my gift for this month. So as much as you can, those of you who are here, as much as you can, go and watch something from my catalog that I have posted. You watch something for me, and grace me and bless me with some WH. I have one good vibes K. I have not used it for some time. I need to go and reset it up. I need to do that. I have been I have been I have been slow in doing that. I've been meaning to do that, and I have not done so. But I have it. But I really need to. I really need to do. It has been a while since I've done that. So I'm not even, I can't even give any. information where it is concerned. As yet, I need to go back to it to ensure that all things is working together, so to speak, before. But yes, I do have one. Okay, 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 okay. All right. Good vibes, Key. I will. I will. I will, and I will place it on my like description and stuff like that. I will place it on. JNG Hot Kitchen. I am doing well. Yeah, long time for real. I tell you, I have been off the street for some time. I think about 2 weeks I've not been on the streets much because I've been really bogged down in doing a lot of things from work to church to many things. So I was pressed on every side, meetings after coming home from work very late. So I could not be in the streets much at all. So I am trying to catch up right now. But thank you so much for coming, JNG. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up if you have not yet given me a thumbs up. Blessings, blessings. You have done your hot kitchen for today already. Boy, your kitchen is always blazing. You and vibes always, you know, kicking our nostrils from afar. Yeah, not mine, but someone close by. Yes, a ram goat liver good fi make manish water. The goat meat make Erin. Goat teeth make Erin for your daughter. Curry goat lunch me divide for your quarter. The rain is about coming down now. It has been bleaky all morning and now it is raining. Not yet heavily, but if you look, you can see remnant truth. Thank you for coming, remnant truth. Give me a thumbs up if you have not yet given me a thumbs up. I appreciate your presence. Can I put that what? That's a goat. Oh, pet. No, it's not a dog. It's a goat actually. Or I don't know if a dog passed when you were they have stray dog passing remnant from time to time. But that right there is a goat feeding on the grass. Yes, remnant, definitely so. Definitely so. Yes, good vibes. All right, guys, I will have to end now. I'm on the outside. The rain is coming over. And I'm going to go on the inside now and get some things done before the late evening come over. It is 5 minutes after 5 in my neck of the woods. Thank you for the blessings, J&G. I appreciate all of you, J&G, Good Vibes, K, Remnant, Wild Rich, everyone who has grace here today. I bless you. I love you. I appreciate you. See you all soon. See you very, very soon.